The following is a HoopBall presentation.
We're back. We are back. Welcome back to HoopBall DFS today. We are back. We have had one of the shortest off seasons in NBA history, or the shortest off season in NBA history, but it has been too long. But DFS today, we are ready to get going again. We are jumping into a Friday, the 11th of December slate. It is obviously preseason, so there's a fair bit of messing around that can go on with that. But if you don't remember me or you're just tuning in for the first time, my name is Brenton Eckersley. I'm hosting today all the way from Adelaide in South Australia. So welcome back, or just welcome if you're new to DFS today. Hey, we got a new pairing here today. I have basically recorded my shows previously with Micah Potria over there in Connecticut. I'll still be doing that on a Sunday for the Monday slates. But we've got a new pairing here, new team. Familiar voice to the HoopBall listeners, though. I'll be teaming up today with David Menkov, the boy from New York City. We're back, Dave.
Well, looking forward to it, Brenton. Really excited to jump on with you tonight.
Yeah, man. We'll see what we can bring out of this slate in our first team up, and hopefully we can give the guys and girls out there a bit of an idea of who to look at. And that's what I wanted to start with here. Actually, we kind of chatted a little bit before we started recording, but what are you generally looking at here in this slate? I mean, I'm probably, don't know about you, but I'm probably headed away from a lot of big salary players here. Are you kind of feeling the same thing?
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting, given you mentioned it earlier, the short transition from the playoffs right into preseason basketball. A lot of these teams are coming in with little to no rest, and it's going to be interesting to see. I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of these young guys versus a lot of the veterans, and to see who's gonna really out in this preseason opportunity, because it's going to be a very unique year, I have a feeling. So looking forward to seeing who's going to hold some value tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely. And, shortened season, as we all know, and shortened turnaround, and no summer league for us to even have a decent look at before we just start firing into preseason games. So, look, we won't probably, dig in wildly deep here. We're just going to probably throw some ideas across at each other and see if we can agree on a few, and maybe we disagree on a few. It happens. Hey, but first, I just want to let you know about one of our sponsors here. One of our major sponsors is MyBookie. That's mybookie.ag. If you guys out there are into betting, live betting, all that good stuff, I really urge you to go and check out our first sponsor. Now, personally, I'm not a bettor. I learned very quickly that I am not very good at betting on sports or live sports. What about you, Dave? I think you might be into it.
Absolutely, I do love a good bet, and my bookie is great for that. So I'm really looking forward to throwing some bets in for the preseason and beyond. So looking forward to that a lot.
That's good. At least one of us is. Look, I learned pretty quickly, like I said, that betting on sports is just not my goal. I'll stick to DFS and be better at that. But seriously, with the NBA just obviously about to start up again, now's the time to get skin in the game with MyBookie, where odds boost, lightning deals, and free bets await all season long. And with the NFL playoffs right around the corner. Is that right? NFL playoffs right around the corner?
Absolutely. Very close. We're already, I'm trying to think, we're already almost in the later stages of the season. So right around the corner for sure.
There you go, man. I don't get a lot of NFL over here. My footy season is, a few months away. Yeah, that runs through winter over here. So anyway, with the playoffs right around the corner, we know who the teams are. We know what they're capable of, and it's not difficult to find some value in the lines. So whether you're a first-time customer or have been playing MyBookie for years, there's no shortage of value to be found. Sign up or get reloaded today. Find an edge, make your bet, and just get paid. They also boast a fully fledged casino platform, giving you access to all the classic table, slot, and card games you'd expect to find at your local casino or local Casino, that'll do it. And the best part is at MyBookie, the doors never close, so you can continue to build your bankroll even after the stadium lights have gone out. Make the right play and sign up at MyBookie. And when you do, use promo code. Make sure you use the promo code, guys. Promo code is HoopBall, so HOOPBALL, to get your deposit matched halfway. And that is all the way up to $1,000. So the terms are really simple. You put in 200, they'll match you with 100 in your account. So if you were already planning to bet this season, this is just free betting money. It is winning season at mybookie.ag. So come on, join in the fun and win some cash while you're at it. Cool. That is the little sponsorship message out of the way. Let's jump into the slate. Dave, the first matchup we got here, Orlando Magic and Atlanta Hawks. Now, I wasn't able to find over-unders, and that's not surprising. We do have some lists of questionables and outs, though. So for Orlando, James Ennis is questionable, and we know that Terrence Ross, of course, Jonathan Isaac, but Al-Farouq Aminu and also Mo Bamba are out for this one. Atlanta, no one questionable, but out we have Onyeka Okongwu. Geez, that's the first time trying to say that one. I hope I got that even close. And Tony Snell and Chris Dunn are also out. So let's jump in. Dave, Orlando, what do you have? What are you looking at here?
Yeah, this matchup, I think, is definitely a juicy one if we're talking regular season, when everyone's full strength and really playing. Because for me, on Orlando's side, going up against an Atlanta team that scores a lot, but also gives up a lot of points. So normally I'd be targeting quite a few guys. But for me, looking at this matchup, looking at a bunch of the younger guys. So Markelle Fultz was really seeing kind of a turnaround towards that latter half of the season and into the bubble. So I like him fairly well at $5,000 price tag. Certainly in play for me as a potential point guard, shooting guard option. Mm-hmm. And then for me also on the front court, it's hard to go wrong with Nikola Vucevic. He's a price at $8,000. Again, his minutes might be limited given the first game of the preseason, and with the short layoff in between the season and the playoffs and the preseason. But with that said, I think he might be worth a target in that later stage of the pricing.
Okay, yeah, cool. And as we go through, we'll probably notice or mention a few times that pricing is almost going to become irrelevant because there is just so much value and so many lower price guys that you can target in a preseason game. Paying up for $8,000 for Vooch, that's not going to be an issue later on. Even if he doesn't quite get to that value, we're just looking for as many fantasy points as we can get. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm a little worried about Markelle Fultz. Maybe they ease him in. Injury history and that type of thing, but I don't mind the pick at all. The guy that on the lower end of the salary scale that I did want to have a bit of a look at was Cole Anthony. So they picked him with their 15th pick. I think he's probably going to have a look at, plenty of backup minutes during the season, and I'm just having a look at him here as a bit of a flyer. Rookie, let's see what he can do with the ball in his hands and see if he can pull us in some fantasy points. What do you think of that?
I actually love that pick. I initially marked up on my list for Orlando as Cole Anthony's potential. I'm just really hesitant for me as we go through a lot of the matchups, a lot of the rookies. I just feel like it's going to be an adjustment going from college ball, playing in North Carolina, to NBA action. So I think it's going to take a few games for a guy like Cole Anthony to really get his kind of adjustment to the NBA.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and look, this is how DFS works for people, and the way they attack things. Mike and I speak about it a fair bit, and that is people have different outlooks on the way the game might go, and we're already seeing a difference right here. I'm thinking maybe, if they want to get these, they've got a shortened preseason. They've had no summer league, so maybe they want to get a few guys like this with the ball in their hands and just see what they can do and get the confidence up before the actual season starts. But yeah, I can see it both ways. Anyone else on this team that you may be looking at?
I think that's pretty much it for me on the Orlando side. There's a bunch of guys in the lower price salary range, in the 4,000 range, that might be worth a look, like Dwayne Bacon, Michael Carter-Williams. But again, these are guys that in a normal slate you might want to look at given their low price tag, but given all the value that we're going to kind of cover as we go through a bunch of these matchups, these are guys I wouldn't really target in this particular case.
Yeah, fair enough. And I had a little bit of a question mark over Dwayne Bacon as well. But as you mentioned, there's plenty of value down here later on. We've got 5 games to get through. So let's move on to Atlanta. I think the Hawks are pretty interesting. Lloyd Pierce has got a lot of new toys to play with. So I'm interested to see how they do swing this out in the preseason. What do you have on the Atlanta side of things?
Yeah, the Atlanta side is certainly interesting. It's one of my more intriguing, I would say, teams that I'm going to be looking at for tonight. So a couple of the big hitters, just right off the bat, Trae Young, John Collins. Trae Young's in price at $8,500. Again, you kind of touched on it. He doesn't have to hit value necessarily. His minutes might be down given the first preseason game, but I think he's going to be itching to play because Atlanta was one of the few teams selected to the bubble. So they really are going to be looking forward to, I think, to getting some game reps as much as they can. So him and John Collins at $7,400 in the center position are 2 of my top tier targets across the entire slate. And then in terms of value, there's a number of guys that we can really look at Atlanta's side. I think it starts with one of their brand new additions, potential starter Bogdan Bogdanovic, coming in at $4,800. I think they're really excited about him. They brought him in to really see what he can do in the starting lineup. So I think they're going to give him some decent exposure and see how he kind of meshes with some of the big guns and Trae Young and John Collins. So I like him a lot. A couple of the other young guys that are coming in, Cam Reddish, 4,200 in the shooting guard position. He's another guy that I'm going to be looking at quite a bit. Kevin Huerter at 4,700 is also in play for me. And then at the power forward spot, DeAndre Hunter is another guy that I'm also going to be looking at a little bit as well at 4,300. So there's a ton of value on the Atlanta side. What about you?
Yeah, there really is a ton of value, and we are right on the same page here. I think this is one of the teams you can have a look at with a little bit more confidence going into this game because there are so many pieces on this team now that Lloyd Pierce is going to have to find a fit, and he's going to have to find a fit quickly. So I think we see some of these guys get more minutes than some of the higher price guys on other teams, older guys, things like that. I love the Bogdanovic call. He is my number 1 target here as well. And as you mentioned, he's the brand new toy. They're going to need to get him fitting in with this starting 5 really quickly. And I can see Lloyd Pierce playing him a stack in the preseason games. Trae Young, absolutely. I think you mentioned, he's going to want to play. I think that Trae is just that type of dude. He's really not... he's very durable. He's young. He's powerful and fast. He's not going to be in any kind of injury worry for the Hawks. And like you said, we don't have to reach value. We just got to get the maximum points we can. So I love the Trae Young call as well. I'll be playing a stack of him. Who else did we? Oh, and you know it again. My pick, DeAndre Hunter. I think everything opens up in this one, especially. I don't think we see. Kongu out there, he's having some foot issues, and if he's having foot issues as a rookie, that's not great. They're not going to risk him, so I think it all just opens up for Hunter. Cool. I think that probably covers the Hawks, unless you got anyone else you want to mention.
No, I think I mentioned quite a few on the Hawks side. I mean, there's certainly a lot of pieces on the Hawks, so I'm definitely looking forward from a DFS perspective to track this team this season. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, cool. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We have the New York Knickerbockers up against the Detroit Pistons. I may have missed the Detroit's questionable and out here, so apologies if I have missed that, but the only questionable that's come up for New York at this stage is Austin Rivers. So let's jump into the Knicks. David, what do you reckon?
Yeah, it's actually exciting. I know that in the previous matchup, I kind of steered away from a lot of the rookies, but with the Knicks, I mean, there's certainly some intriguing pieces that I really want to look at pretty extensively. So I think it starts with one of their front court players in Obi Toppin, top 10 pick this year, coming in with quite a bit of hype from Dayton. Played really consistent offensive basketball. I think in a matchup against the Pistons in the preseason, I think he's going to have all the opportunity to really shine and show what he's capable of. At 4,800, he's a guy that I'm going to be looking at very heavily in a lot of DFS lineups. And then a couple other guys that are really trying to have reclamation projects and really try and show that they're ready to take the next step in their careers. A guy that was a rookie last year, RJ Barrett, 4,700, also in play. I think he's going to have a lot of opportunity to really show what he's capable of this season. So he's a guy I'm looking at. And then in the front court, in the center position, Mitchell Robinson, 4,900. That price tag is really nice for a guy that can consistently put up points, rebounds, and blocks. If he can just stay out of foul trouble, he's another guy that I'm looking at on the Knicks side.
Yeah, cool. Mitch Robinson is very low there. That's a really low price for Robinson. Do you have any interest in Nerlens Noel at all at that center spot in this one?
Yeah, Nerlens Noel is certainly an option. I think for the regular season, I would be a lot more sold on Nerlens Noel kind of outlook. Given the 4,400 price tag, it's super low. He should get plenty of opportunities to show what he's capable of. For me, it's more of understanding what that timeshare is going to look like with Mitchell Robinson. Is there going to be enough minutes for Nerlens Noel to hit value? But I have no problem with Nerlens Noel at that price tag.
You would hope in the regular season for the Knicks' sake that they play a lot more Mitch Robinson than they have in the past. And as you mentioned, he's got to stay out of foul trouble to do that. But he did seem to cut down on his foul trouble later in the season, last season. So, yeah, Mitch Robinson's a great play. Who else did I have noted here? Obi Toppin, absolutely. I mean, there is some rumours going around Twitter and other such places that, he is vying for the starting power forward position. So why not have a go at him here? He's going to be looking to prove himself. As you said, he's an offensive scorer and player, probably not so much defense, but we don't necessarily need a defensive player in DFS. We're looking for point scoring, rebounds, and all the stuff that goes along with it. So, yeah, totally agree with that one. The other guy that I had down here, and it's only really a bit of a dart throw flyer type, is Emmanuel Quickley. These guys have picked him up this year as well, and we know Austin Rivers is potentially not going to play. I don't know how much Elfrid Payton we see, so there's a potential chance just to have a bit of a throw with Emmanuel Quickley here and see if he gets some minutes. Anyone else on the Knicks team for you?
I have to say, Brenton, that call on Emmanuel Quigley is great. He's, for me, that's another guy that you touched on. I think it's a great call. Kentucky guards, just in general, in the NBA, have been prolific throughout history. So I think it's worth a flyer at 4,000. Why not? He's a guy that came in shooting 43% in Kentucky from 3-point line. So he's a guy that can fill it up very quickly. So another guy that can really fill it up an offensive end. I think that's the last guy that I would look at from the Knicks side. So you nailed it completely.
Yeah, we seem to be on the same page. And look, this seems to be a recurring theme in what I've picked out of this preseason game is these younger backcourt guys who, will have a role later on in the regular season for some of these teams. And so where else are they going to get this experience? It's the preseason. So you'll see that pop up again a little bit later from me as well. Cool. Let's cross over to the Pistons. I don't know about you, but I have a pretty big target in the backcourt here. I'm wondering if you have the same guy again, but let's see what you think about the Pistons.
Yeah, let's hope. So for me, it's their brand new announcement. Their starting point guard is going to be a rookie who's been playing overseas in Germany these past couple of years. Killian Hayes.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, right. 4,400 starting point guard, getting the keys to run the offense. Young player, a guy that put up in Germany close to 6 assists and 1.5 steals. A bigger guy, bigger body, so I think he can really be very durable in today's NBA. So I like him a lot. So he's one of my best picks from this entire game. So he's another guy that I'm really looking at very strongly. And then also on the Pistons side, I'm a guy in the front court, small forward. I'm going to butcher his name, and that's apologies to all the listeners. Siku Domboya. I definitely blew that, but
that's close. I hear Domboya. Yeah. I hear Dumbaye. Yeah. Tomato.
Right. At 4,300, I think he should get plenty of opportunity to get some heavy minutes in his first preseason game. So I like him a lot too. So those are my two guys on the Pistons side. What about you?
Yeah, I'll just throw in one more there, and it's a little bit of preseason hype around what Delon Wright might be able to do with this team. 4,700. He's just another value play here. He's touted as potentially having a breakout year. So I don't know. He should really have the shooting guard spot locked down for regular season. He can rebound a bit. He dishes out a few assists and has the potential to grab some steals. He's actually one of my regular season fantasy sleepers. I'm picking him up late in drafts wherever I can, just to see what happens there. But yeah, I think we pretty much nailed it. I don't really want too much else to do with the Pistons here. I think we can probably just move straight on to the next game. But look, before we do, we'll just quickly drop in another one of our sponsors. We are super happy to be involved with Manscaped. Manscaped have been sponsoring us here at HoopBall for some time. You probably heard us talk about the Lawnmower 3.0. But you need to listen up now because there is a new Manscaped product alert. Manscaped just released, and I think this is one of the greatest product names I've heard for a long time. It is the Weed Whacker. The Weed Whacker is the nose and ear hair trimmer, and that is the coolest name ever. So, yeah, boys, take a look in the mirror. Guarantee if you're not, really keeping up on your grooming, that you probably got a few sticky outies going on there out of your nostrils and your ears. So we want you guys to look your best, and the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer is the best way to do it. Personally, I need to get myself one of these. I've been doing this business with a pair of nail scissors, and it is not good. It's not good. It's dangerous. I don't know what I'm thinking. I need to get myself a Weed Whacker. Manscaped is forever changing the grooming game with their Weed Whacker. This new trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which is the technology from Manscaped that helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs. And none of those sound nice, especially when you're talking about your nostril area. The premium Manscaped Weed Whacker uses a 9,000 RPM motor, 360-degree rotary dual blade system. Its intelligently contoured design enhances the trimming experience, and it is waterproof. So you can take this thing into the shower. It makes for easy operation when you're in there, and of course makes for easy cleaning as well. It is the only nose hair trimmer on the market with a powerful and rechargeable lithium-ion battery that lasts for up to 90 minutes of use. I tell you what, if you're using a Weed Whacker for 90 minutes, you're going to have the cleanest ears and nostrils in the land. Manscaped is making whacking your weeds a time to look forward to, delivering maximum confidence while providing hygiene. And yes, you will get a replaceable blade every 3 months to keep your weed whacking time clean and enjoyable. It's time to upgrade your Manscaped routine with the Weed Whacker. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code. And the code isn't here, Dan Besbris. What am I doing? I mean, unless the code is XXX, you guys can try that. Try the code XXX at manscaped.com. And I imagine that's probably HoopBall or something similar, but give them both a go. Thank you, Manscaped, for keeping our pubes trimmed and hairs in our holes looking nice. Oh, there it is. There is the HoopBall code. It is HoopBall20. So there you go. 20% off, free shipping at manscaped.com with the code HoopBall20. Woo! I got through it. Let's get back into it, David. Houston Rockets and Chicago Bulls. Houston, questionable. James Harden. Surely James Harden is out. I believe he has to go through multiple COVID checks and pass them 6 days in a row or something like that. So it's very, very unlikely he's playing. Questionable, I believe, Boogie Cousins, Sterling Brown, David Nwaba. And for Chicago, questionable nobody, but out Garrett Temple and Denzel Valentine. David, I've talked for a long time now, mate. Let's get into the Houston Rockets. What do you think of the Rockets in this one?
Yeah, the Houston Rockets during the regular season, I would be very excited about what's going to happen with the Rockets with their revamped lineup and their new strategy. It appears to be with Daryl Morey out the door. But with that said, preseason, with Harden out, John Wall coming in, first game action. I wouldn't put a lot of stock in John Wall at 7,700. I'll stay away from him. But for me, it's a lot of the lower price guys on the backcourt. Chris Clemens is a guy that should get plenty of run at the backup point guard position. He should get plenty of minutes. $4,000 is a pretty nice price tag to pay for him. If he should get 25 to 30 minutes, he should have no problem hitting some value there. For me, also the shooting guard, Gerald Green, another guy, a veteran, but a guy that should get some playing time, can do a little bit of everything on the court in terms of shooting, with some rebounding, potentially some steals here and there. So another guy at 4,100, worth a flyer. And then for me, in the front court, we got Ben McLemore, 4,600, another guy that should get plenty of opportunity in this kind of matchup, first preseason game, a guy that should get plenty of run. Love him. And then the brand new, shiny new power forward, Christian Wood. Really excited to see how they incorporate an actual power forward center into their lineup for the first time in, it feels like, years. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Christian Wood can do with his new team, 7,500 worth a flyer, even at that higher tiered price tag. What about you?
Yeah, I'm looking straight at Christian Wood as well, and probably not even as a flyer. Even with the elevated price tag, as we've already mentioned, it's not about salaries in this one. I actually think he's potentially going to be one of the chalkier plays on this slate. Everybody's been talking about Christian Wood in this offseason, but as my buddy Micah Potria says, sometimes you just have to eat the chalk, and I think this is one of those cases. We know what he's capable of on a points per minute basis for DFS, and I don't see him getting low minutes here. I think they're gonna unleash him and see what happens. You mentioned John Wall. I think unveil is probably closer to the truth in this one than unleash. He's going to be on restricted minutes no matter what happens here, so I'm not going near there. But another nice little pick that we both have here in our pockets, and Chris Clemens is the one for me. I think he gets all the run he can handle, given that especially, I think that John Wall will be limited if he plays at all, and Chris Clemens has a chance to, get us some really good fantasy points. I like it a lot. Good call, man. Okay, so that covers us for the Houston Rockets. No one else you want to throw in there?
No, the Houston Rockets are definitely going to be more of a wait and see for me. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they throw out there on tonight's slate.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, who's your team? Who do you follow?
My team, a diehard Philadelphia 76ers fan.
Okay.
For many, many years. So they're not playing, unfortunately, but I'm looking forward to following them this season.
Not in this first one, but I'm sure you'll get to them soon enough. Yeah, interesting times for Philly as well. Changing things up and just trying to get that spacing happening with Simmons and Embiid. So we'll see what happens over there. But hey, we're not focused on them tonight. Oh, my team's the Pelicans, by the way. Just in case anyone is wondering. So that's you'll hear me get excited when we talk about the Pels. All right. Let's move across to the Chicago Bulls. I know who I am targeting here, and again, it's a backcourt guy. A couple of other plays, or maybe one other play that I'm looking at here. But yeah, man, let's see what you got. Who are you targeting here on the Chicago Bulls?
Yeah, for me, the Chicago Bulls, all my guys are $4,000 even. So starting with the backcourt, I got Shaq Harrison coming in at 4,000. He should get plenty of run. Both in preseason, but also in the regular season. I like him a lot. He's a younger guy that I think should get plenty of run. Has a very, very fantasy friendly game as well, because he gets a lot of steals. He's able to do a little bit of everything on the court. So he's a guy that I like a lot. And then in the front court, a couple guys. Noah Vonleh at 4,000 is definitely worth a look. A guy that could get some decent minutes. And then another guy, Daniel Gafford, at center position, $4,000. So he's another guy that I'm looking at because I don't envision they're playing a lot of Wendell Carter in this kind of matchup. So that's why I'm going to be looking at Daniel Gafford a little bit as well.
Okay, cool. So I'm just writing some names down here because we are different on this one. So just taking some notes on what you've said there. I like that. Good calls. Look, I'm probably headed a little bit more straight down the line on a couple of guys that will be the starting guys in the regular season, and I'm hoping that they just get a bit of extended run here, maybe push past 25 minutes. Both of them are young guys, so Kobe White is the first one I want in this lineup. I don't think Zach LaVine plays much here, if at all, and I think that Kobe should be off the leash early, hopefully. The other guy that I wanted was, you mentioned Wendell Carter Jr. as not being on your radar. He's actually on my radar here, so that's just a little bit of different thinking. It's just sticking with the youth policy and who's probably playing a decent number of minutes. He's sitting in the center spot. If you look at the other teams around, a lot of older guys at that kind of price point, and I don't see those guys getting minutes, where I see Carter Jr. maybe getting more of a run here. But hey, horses for courses, and everybody has different opinions. You can take from what Dave said and what I said as you will. Cool. Let's move on to I think this is the last game of the slate. No, there's two more. Let's see if we can rip through LA Clippers and LA Lakers. David Menkov, who do you have here for we'll run through the questionables and outs. Questionable for the Clippers, nobody. Out, Jay Scrub. I don't know what we're going to do without a person called Jay Scrub. I don't know who that person is, but it is not affecting my lineups whatsoever. LA Lakers, questionable, Alfonso McKinney, and out. The obvious guys, LeBron James and AD, will not be suiting up in this one. So given that news, let's see what you got there on the Clippers, David.
Yep. So on the Clippers side, a couple guys in the backcourt I'm really targeting. I think for me, Terrence Mann, a guy that should get opportunity to play, get some run, 4,200. A guy that should be able to get some decent minutes, given a lot of the veterans are probably not going to get a lot of run in this matchup. And at 4,200, he's definitely another guy that's worth a look towards the lower priced options. And then one of their newcomers in the backcourt, Luke Kennard, 4,400. Excited to see what he can bring to the Clippers lineup. He's another guy that you're rarely going to see him priced at that price point. So worth look quite a bit as well in DFS. So I'm going to have quite a bit of exposure. And then for me, no one in the Clippers front court really speaks to me, just given all the moving pieces and given that it's first preseason game after a disappointing kind of finish to their playoff run.
Love it. Love it, love it. You and I are going to get along just fantastically, dude. I am looking at Luke Kennard. I think he probably falls off the board a little bit as far as regular fantasy season play goes for the Clippers. Obviously, he's going to be way down the pecking order there. But in the preseason stuff, yep, all in on Luke Kennard, and especially at that price. I did have a look at Terrence Mann. I think I'm with you. I think he gets a whole lot of run here. I'm just not sure that look. What I'm trying to say is I'm looking at Reggie Jackson more than Terrence Mann here. I think that Reggie Jackson maybe has a slightly higher ceiling for DFS, but we'll see. Either or. And yes, I don't want anything to do with the front court either. I just can't see the rotations in this one. There are no names that I want to look at. I cannot pick who they're going to play, and I definitely don't think it's Ivica Zubac for, large amounts of time or anything like that. So cool. I think we're on the same page there. Covered the Clippers. Let's move on to the Lakers. Couple of guys I'm looking at, and again, it is backcourt guys, but let's see what you think, David.
Yeah, the Lakers, if this is, again, regular season, I would be very excited about the Lakers because they have a bunch of new pieces I'm really excited about, like Dennis Schroeder coming in. I think he's a guy that can really provide a lot of value. But preseason game one with guys like LeBron James out, potentially, definitely out, apologies. LeBron James out, Anthony Davis out. I like in the backcourt Alex Caruso, everyone's favorite Los Angeles Laker, 4,200. That price point is really strong considering he's going to get plenty of run. And then another guy you can look at also in that backcourt in the Lakers, Quinn Cook, 4,000. They just re-signed him. He's a guy that in normal circumstances would barely get off the bench, but in this case, he should be able to get 15, 20, up to even 25 minutes, depending on how this game kind of goes. So I like them a lot. And then kind of the same narrative as the Clippers. There's really no one in the front court that I really want to look at on the Lakers side. What about you?
At the start of this podcast, we mentioned that this may be a bit of a crapshoot because it's the first preseason slate of the year, and yet we are just consistently falling on the same guys here. So maybe it's not as crappy as we thought. Alex Caruso, absolutely. If LeBron is out, Caruso is an automatic plug-in for me, and I love the Quinn Cook call here as well. I think he's getting a pretty good allotment of minutes here. I'm not sure I'm playing both of these guys in the same lineup, but I think you can flip between them maybe as a pivot if you're doing multiple lineups for tonight's slate. The only other guy that I am actually looking at is Horton Tucker. So is that Talon? Horton Tucker? Talon.
Yep.
Talon. So yeah, look, there's just a little buzz around this guy, especially on social media, Twitter. If you're following along with all the NBA teams and reporters and such, they just continue to tout him as being a future NBA player, and what better place to give a guy like that some wingspan and let him go than a preseason game. So I am looking at a little bit of Horton Tucker here as well, probably not in a huge amount of lineups. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I actually like him. I thought he really, in limited minutes, he showed some potential. He's a guy that, to kind of what the buzz is around in terms of his opportunity, I think down the road he's going to get plenty of opportunity. But I think he's a guy that could potentially show out in this type of matchup, in this type of environment. So I really like that call as another guy to throw in if you really want another cheaper option.
Yeah, for sure. What about Trez? Do you have any interest in Montrezl Harrell here? Is there any chance they want to get him acclimated to the team or throw him out there and see what happens? I mean, he's a pretty durable guy. I did have him kind of listed as a maybe. Do you have any interest in Trez? Yeah,
no, Montrezl is certainly an intriguing option in their front court. I mean, someone has to play for the Lakers. So using that logic, he's definitely a guy that's going to get an opportunity. I just don't know if he's going to bring that same motor and energy, given that it's preseason game one. So I don't know if that's 6,200 because that price tag is pretty high for a guy that in the playoffs he kind of folded completely. So I don't know if at that price tag I'm going to willing to take the trigger if it was regular season. Preseason with so many guys priced at such reasonable prices, he might be worth looking at, but he's not a guy that I'm going to be putting too much stock into.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same wavelength. I think there is a chance that maybe they just want to get him out there, get him comfortable in a Lakers uniform. And if I know Trez, which I don't, but if I know him, he now plays for the Lakers. That's a big deal. There's been some off-court stuff going on with the Clippers, the team that he left. So there's just a chance here we see some, big fist-pumping, mouth-open Montrez plays. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Anyone else on the Lakers you're targeting, or is that about it?
That's about it for me. What about you?
No, I think that covers it for me as well. Cool. Last game of the slate. Let's crack into this one. It's the Sacramento Kings and the Portland Trail Blazers. For me, the Kings is another fairly interesting team preseason, just to see what shakes out here. Questionable for the Kings, though, we have Hassan Whiteside and also Marvin Bagley III. No one is out on the Kings at this time. Trailblazers, questionable. Yusuf Nurkic, I wouldn't expect him to suit up if he's going in questionable. And out we have Rodney Hood and Zach Collins. So let's jump straight into it, Dave. Sacramento Kings, what do you got?
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I think for me, another one of the higher priced options, De'Aaron Fox, 8,300 on the Kings. He should be able to get some minutes. It's just a matter of how many minutes. And preseason, again, we can ignore that price tag, and we just want to see if he can rack up some assists and points. And I think he can potentially do that in this type of matchup. And this game's on ESPN, so he might be a little more motivated given it's on national TV. although I don't know how many viewers there's going to be for preseason at 10:30 Eastern. But and then we got another guy in the backcourt for me, a brand new rookie, Tyrese Halliburton. A lot of hype around him going into the draft, and I watched quite a bit of him at Iowa State. And he's a guy that can really do a bunch of different things on the court. He's very versatile. And I think at 4,500, he's going to get plenty of opportunity, especially in the preseason, to really show what he's capable of. So I like him a lot. And that's pretty much it on the Sacramento side for me.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Absolutely. I've got Tyrese Halliburton written down here as well. Nice new rookie. He's going to get plenty of opportunity this season. I'm interested to see what his game style produces in terms of DFS numbers. We'll just have to wait and see. But he's going to get plenty of opportunity and should get opportunity in this matchup as well. So if he can get to, over 10 actual points, pitch in some assists, and maybe gets us some steals as well, he's definitely worth a look. I'm with you, De'Aaron Fox. I'm all over De'Aaron Fox in this one. He's kind of in that same Trae Young kind of mold, wants to play, will play, can't stop me playing kind of guy. So I think he fits the mold for this type of preseason matchup. Like you said, we don't need 50 fantasy points, but if you can get to 30, 35 in limited minutes, then that's pretty good for me. The other guy in the backcourt here for the Kings I'm looking at as well is Corey Joseph. So he is probably going to be the backup point guard or almost definitely the backup point guard to De'Aaron Fox. And again, it's just the same kind of thinking where if De'Aaron Fox sits or is on limited minutes, they need someone to run the unit, and that's going to be Corey Joseph. So I'm having a look at Corey Joseph here as well. What about front court? You kind of said not really?
Yeah, for me, I just looked at this front court. There's a bunch of guys that could get some run. But at the price point, there's not really anyone that I'm particularly interested in. There's just a bunch of guys that are really going to potentially have a minutes cap, but also guys that are priced a little bit more difficult for me, like a Glenn Robinson at 4,600. That price point's a little high, given his potential output, and Harrison Barnes as well. So I'm going to steer clear. What about for you?
No, I'm pretty much of the same thinking here. I can't quite peg down who's going to play minutes and what the rotations are going to be here in the front court for the Kings. So I think I might just leave that alone as well. Cool. On the same page there. Let's move on. Last team of the day, Dave, it is the Portland Trailblazers. Very interesting. I struggled with this team a little bit and only came up with a couple of guys. So let's see how you did if you did any better than I did there.
Yeah, I have a couple guys. So for me, I think it's more of intrigue versus a guys that I really want to potentially throw into a lot of my lineups. But I guess similar kind of fashion with De'Aaron Fox. I mean, Damian Lillard is a gamer, preseason or not. If he gets any kind of minutes, he's a guy that can really do a lot. 8,700, again, at this point, you just need guys that are proven scorers and proven guys that can put up 30, 40 fantasy points consistently from a DFS perspective. So for me, I'm definitely going to be looking at Damian Lillard in my lineups. And then another guy from the Trailblazers I really like a lot, Gary Trent Jr., 4,400. He's rumored to be potentially starting this year. There's been a lot of conversations, or the first guy off the bench potentially. So he's a guy that really showed out in the latter half of the bubble in the playoffs as well. So really excited to see what he's going to do this year. And another fun fact, he's a former Michigan State guy, and I'm a huge Michigan State supporter. So I always try and support the Spartan alum as much as possible. So
but you don't let that affect your DFS decisions, do you? Surely.
Of course not. And then I also, in the front court, a couple guys, Nasir Little, 4,000. Another guy that should get plenty of opportunity in this kind of game setting with a bunch of guys in the front court being out. So he's a guy that's worth a shot. And then another guy that's a former King, Harry Giles III. guy with a lot of talent coming into the NBA from Duke. 4,000. A lot of injury concerns in this past, but if he can be healthy at 4,000, absolutely gonna have a fair share of my lineups. What about you?
Love it, man. Love it. Love that Harry Giles call. Great to see him come into this first preseason game without a questionable tag or any kind of tag. Looks like he's just ready to go. And there is a little buzz around on Twitter about him at the moment. I can absolutely see Harry Giles getting a really good run here in this one. It's going to be down to him. Center position, it's going to be down to him and Cantor. I don't want much to do with Cantor in a preseason game, and I think Harry Giles just smashes DFS points out here. Love the Gary Trent Jr. call. I'm actually moving past Dame. Sorry to disagree with you, but I just worry about the age thing there and could be super limited. I'm much happier to take risks on the high price guys like the younger guys like Trey and De'Aaron. I'll probably move past Dame and CJ in this one and head straight to Gary Trent Jr. So yeah, a little bit of difference there, but cool, man. Unless you had anything else to add, I think we just wrapped up 5 games in pretty good time. Nothing else to add for the Blazers?
Nothing else for me. Really looking forward to just getting some long overdue NBA action, although shorter than historically possible. So really looking forward to jumping in a little preseason in the middle of December.
So am I, man. Absolutely. I've been hanging out for the NBA to start again, and us DFS tragics, we get to throw lineups in again, and that's awesome. I've had very little to do DFS wise over here in Australia. A little bit of cricket, which you guys probably don't know too much about, but really not much else, man. So bring on preseason. Can't wait for it, and we're going to get in there and smash some DFS slates hopefully. Hey, before we go, David, just let everybody know where they can find you on Twitter.
Absolutely, you can find me at dmank33, and I'm available for any questions or last-minute consultations as well on the DFS side. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And all us HoopBall DFS guys are on Twitter. We can take your questions if you just want to shoot them at us over the forum there or the format there. We'll be happy to take your questions and hopefully get you over the line in a few slates. Hey, that's it for us guys. First preseason show done and dusted. You've been listening to HoopBall DFS today with David Menkov. My name's Brenton Eckersley. You can find me on Twitter at Terrain72. So that's TERRAIN72. We'll see you out there, guys. Let's go see what we can do with some DFS slates. See you later.
This has been a HoopBall presentation.